Hey folks, try and get your attention for just a second. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to say thank you to everybody who showed up today. It's a real amazing experience. Not only were we on the bridge at 11th Street, we were on the bridge at 12th Street. We were on the bridge at Mopac. We were on the bridge on Lamar and Riverside. 5 bridges in this city. And then we were on one bridge in every state in the Union. The whole United States. We all had the same banner. We all across the whole United States said bridge the economic gap with a universal living wage. Now there's those out there that talk about, like Senator Kennedy, talk about raising the minimum wage by $1.50 over 2 years. That's not going to get one minimum wage worker off the streets of America. Because it takes more than that to afford basic rental housing. And we know that. What we need is a minimum wage that's a universal living wage, so that it relates to what we need to get into in terms of housing and have enough to eat. Food, clothing, shelter. That's the basic minimum that we need in this nation. And you know, we have an immigration problem in this country. And the president says people from Central America are taking jobs that people here don't want to do. Yeah, we don't want to take those jobs. We don't want those jobs because by our economy, they don't pay us what we need to get into basic rental housing. But by their economy in Central America and Mexico and Guatemala, that is a good wage. But what we're talking about is we have major corporations like Dell Corporation right here out of Austin that have left this country and gone down there to Mexico to pay people $5 an hour. $5 a day. $5 a day. And then they've left that and gone on to Taiwan and to China for $4 a day. What we're saying is you can go in those countries, you can come in this country, but you've got to pay a living wage so that people wherever you go have enough to eat, be clothed, and be housed. That's the basic minimum. That needs to be the worldwide standard, the universal standard. We're talking about the universal living wage. Because that'll change everything. That'll change poverty itself. That's the incentive to work. Why would anybody work now if you could work a full-time job and still not get a roof over your head other than a bridge? There's no incentive there. Well, we know that. And there's people just like us right now breaking bread and sharing a conversation with each other all over the United States, having that same conversation because they realize that. We planted a seed. Today, we've launched the Universal Living Wage campaign together. Together, we've launched a seed of concept. God bless us. This is just the beginning. Every chance we get, talk to somebody about the Universal Living Wage. Every time somebody says, let's raise the minimum wage, we need 50 more cents an hour. You say, no, we don't. They say, how much do you need in Austin? So we need enough wherever we are. So wherever we go, that if we work, we can get into housing. Am I right, Michael?
Yep.
The basic minimum wage. This is no new fly-by-night idea. It was created in 1938 under the Fair Labor Standards Act. Not the Democrats, not the Republicans, but both halves of Congress decided after the Depression that we needed a minimal standard for people to have so that they work, that they can get into housing. And they set the federal minimum wage. But they didn't index it to anything. And that's what we're saying. We want to tweak it just enough so that the existing federal minimum wage becomes the universal living wage by indexing it to the local cost of housing. our idea is that complex and that simple at the same time. That's all it is. Just give people what they need and people will respond. We will work. We will be there. Ready, steady, and able. This is good for business.
Keep the thieving down.
A lot of people don't understand. Of course it will. People don't have to go out and do survival things. They'll be there at the job. They wouldn't have to go and do the other things. And that's not good for our country when people have to be capitalists and they don't have anything and the only thing they have to sell is each other and drugs. That's not good for us. We need to take hold of this country, and that's what we're doing today. And you should be proud because you struck a blow for a democracy, true democracy. That's what we're doing. We are stabilizing this country. Our leaders have abandoned us. All of their power responds to lobbyists. We have to be the only kind of lobby, the only way we can is with numbers and with our voices. We don't have the money. We can't buy that time to have those conversations. We have to go on the bridges of America and have those conversations. And that's what we did today. We had a conversation with America. We had a conversation with Congress. We just had a conversation with the President of the United States because we were on the bridge in Washington, D.C. The head of the NAACP, the head of the NAACP was on that bridge with us in Washington, D.C. today. And he said, you know what? Katrina, he said, that's about poverty. The universal living wage is about poverty. That's what we're talking about. We had people with us on the 12th Street Bridge that were in Louisiana supporting what we were doing because they understand that the job that they're about to get, that someone is about to get them, is going to be a minimum wage job. And it's not going to be any better than the poverty they just left where they just were.
Right.
It has to be more than that. We have to have more vision than that. We can't just ask for an increase in the minimum wage. A little something is not better than nothing. Because then they say, well, we just gave them something. Well, we just gave them something. You didn't give us anything if we're stuck on the streets. If 3.5 million people are living on the streets, and if you don't realize that there's homeless people in this movement, because this movement is about us, it's about poverty, it's about having been homeless, it's about being the next person to be homeless. That's how easy it is. We have to change that. And when they say, oh, yeah, Mr. Doggett, he wants us to raise the minimum wage. Well, I'm going to support him, I'm a Democrat. Well, I'm not going to support that idea. I don't care whether he's a Democrat or Republican. If they're talking about something that's less than what we, the people, need just to get by, then it's less than what we need. God bless you all. Thank you so much for coming. Do this again. Come the next time you hear the call. Bless you all.